Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing good. This is Shrikar Reddy, working as assistant professor in the Department of Agriculture Extension Education, School of Agriculture, SR University, Warangal. So today we are going to discuss regarding rural sociology and educational psychology. So before starting rural sociology and education psychology, I want to go into the brief history. If you are seeing the brief history of rural sociology in agriculture, why it is there. So, in BSc Agriculture, there are various subjects. In that various subjects, one of the subject is Agriculture Extension Education. In Agriculture Extension Education, there are multiple subjects. In the multiple subjects, around 5 courses are there, which Extension Education is offering in BSc Agriculture. Starting with rural sociology and educational psychology, the first course in the first year, then communication skills and personality development. Then goes fundamentals of agriculture extension education. Then goes entrepreneurship. Then journalism. Apart from this course, one course is offered as a practical course in fourth year, RAWEP Agricultural Extension. So these are the course mapping or the course line of extension department. In that particular courses, the first course which we are offering is rural sociology and educational psychology is the first course. Why rural sociology instead of fundamentals means this particular subject deals with people, this particular subject deals with the farmers, this particular subject deals with communication. So, more than the fundamentals of any subject, we need to first of all understand the background or the core space where we are going to work. So, rural sociology particularly deals with rural parts of India, its own structures, its own functioning. So that's why this extension deal with rural parts, because if you see, sociology is always about the society, how it is functioning and how it is beginning. So before understanding extension, we need to understand about the place, the rural society where we are going to work. If you understand well where you are going to work, how it is functioning, what are its core values, what are its functioning structures, then accordingly you can learn about extension, how it functions and how it can be applied to the rural parts. So that's why in first year itself, extension department offers this particular course called rural sociology and educational psychology, in which we are going to understand about rural society, how it functions, what are its core values, culture, tradition. Many aspects will come under this. So let's not waste our time and start our class. Yeah, as discussed, this is a Rural Sociology and Education Psychology AEXT 191 course. Today we are going to read regarding the key terminologies of first chapters. The key terminology refers to extension education, sociology, rural sociology. Uh, First, we will try to understand the concept of all these things, then the meaning of all these things, then we will understand the definitions which are supporting the key concepts. So, first, extension education. We'll start with extension education. Extension education comprised of two different words. Everybody is aware. Extension education is comprised of two different words, extension and education. We will break into two different words. We will understand each word separately, then we will understand them combined. Okay, let's start with education. Regularly, this is the term which you will come across a lot of times in your life. I mean, lot of times from the beginning of your career, from beginning of your life, education is that term which you are using very, very, very regularly with normal regulations. So, can anybody justify the word education in words, because when I'm asking about education, a brief question at you. What can be the education as per your knowledge, as per your interest, as you are using this word regularly? Everybody is normally use this word education. Before going to conceptual, I just want to see how many of them can justify the word education, or how many of them recall yourself. Come on, tell yourself what can be the education. Most of the answers which you are about to tell can be giving knowledge, giving information, giving knowledge, giving information, getting knowledge, knowing about something. These are the words which we use regular when I am telling about education. But education is not only giving information, getting information. This is not only part which is uh, which will cover in education. Okay. See, imagine as a conceptual terminology, what can be education? See, in education, it always brings a different aspect in it. For example, you know something, it will change. It will change, and that change can be considered as education. For example, and that change is not random, that change is not unplanned. When I am educating you, means I want to bring some changes in your behavior which will be useful to you, which can help you to sort many other things. So, if you see the definition of education, education is about bringing desirable changes in human behavior. One of the definitions of education is bringing desirable changes in human behavior. If you see, none of the words are unnecessarily put, or none of the words are randomly kept here. So it has a purpose. Every word has a purpose in this line. Education can be defined as bringing. Bringing means it is brought by someone else in others, bringing desirable changes. They are telling desirable, not random changes. Okay, the changes which are expected, the changes which are wantedly brought to your behavior. So bringing desirable, which are required for your benefit, bringing desirable changes in human behavior, where the changes are applied in the human behavior, how we are taking, how we are talking, how we are behaving. So all these changes will be made. Okay. If you see, what does changes means? Normally, if you see the classroom education, what is happening? You will come with a set of mindset. You will come with a set of information which is already fed up in your brains. With those brains, with those ideologies, you will sit in the classroom, and new lectures, new information will be fed to you, and those information will be taken or input or incorporated into your mind. Then those information will bring changes in your mindsets. Those information will create a small sort of change inside your brain or inside your knowledge. The changes will be either, if it is utilizable, if you are understanding, you will save it and you will utilize this further or future purposes. So, if you see, the definition itself is justifying bringing desirable changes. So if you are studying BSc Agriculture, they are going to teach you regarding BSc Agriculture itself. They are bringing the changes which are required for BSc Agriculture. If you are studying MBBS or some pharmacy or anything, they will bring changes in that particular aspects itself. Okay, so that's why education, the definition of education can be bringing desirable changes in human behavior. So when I'm talking about bringing change, where it can be brought or how it can be brought, so where it is applied, so these terms will come. When change is happening, where it will happen? The change is happening at your knowledge domain. Knowledge is related to alphabets, numerics, theories, theorems. These all concepts come under knowledge domain, cognitive domain. Okay, so when the change happened in your behavior, those change should be applied somewhere. So one is knowledge domain. When something you have learned, it will change your knowledge. So that is one domain. The second one is attitude. Your values, your beliefs, your opinion, your perception, your emotions. All these aspects will fall under one particular concept called attitude domain of education. The last domain is skill. When you learn something, what will happen? Either it will change your knowledge or your attitude, or your skills will be improvised. That is one aspect of education. So, is that clear? Up to here, if you see, we have seen the concept of education. Education is like we are bringing a wanted changes in humans so that it should benefit humanity as well as himself as well as society. So, education is nothing but bringing desirable changes in human behavior. When we are telling the bringing desirable changes, those changes will be applied to three different aspects: cognitive domain, attitude domain, skills. Cognitive is nothing but again uh, the knowledge domain. Psychomotor can also be known as skill. So mechanical can also be known as skill domain. So it is related to operation, it is related to works. So that particular part is related to skill. This is about education's concept and definition. Hope everybody is clear until here. Education is nothing but bringing desirable changes in human behavior, and these things will be applied to knowledge, skill, and attitude domain. Knowledge is related to theories, theorems, skills, alphabets, numerics, anything which is not there. Alphabets are not real, numerics are not real, not real. From those, the concepts will be framed. All those things fall under knowledge domain. Okay. So next one is types of education. Okay, this is types of education. When I am education can be classified. Education, all educations will not fall under the same tree. All educations will not follow the same pattern. All education will not happen in a similar situation. So according to many factors, education has been divided. Somehow they have, social scientists or the philosophers have divided this education into different categories. Okay, one category, one classification among those categories is this particular, which is visible in your slide. According to social scientists, one classification they have given here, education can be divided into three different types. Okay, the first one is formal, and the quite opposite to it is non-formal, and other one is informal. These are three types of educations you can observe. Let us understand what are those three types of education. And the first education is formal education. The formal education is a type of education which is framed systematically with a proper organization and administrative structures within the four walls, with curriculum, with clear-cut definitions of the work. So it is all the schools, all the educational institutions, most of the degree colleges, universities, all fall under formal type of education, because all this education will happen with some regulations, some rules, some norms, and within the four walls with a system of curriculum, with a proper implementation of all those things. Such kind of educations can be called as formal educations. Okay, the name itself indicating formal, a systematic. Yeah, so the quite opposite. Okay, the quite opposite to formal education will be non-formal education. Okay, non-formal education, it is a type of education which is not going to happen in between the four walls. Okay, not in between the four walls. It is out of school education. It is out of school education. What does it mean? It is not going to happen with fixed regulation. It is not going to happen with rules and regulation. It is not going to happen with uh, organization and administrative patterns. Okay, see, you can take for formal education. We have given an example of schools, colleges, universities. All these things falls under formal education. When we are talking about non-formal education, what it can cover? Non-formal for training, capacity building, workshop to the adults. Okay, Formal can be andragogy and pedagogy related to adult education as well child education. But most of the non-formal education happens to andragogy, adult education, okay, to the adults because they don't have a fixed curriculum, they don't follow the timetable. For example, I can tell the school children to come on time to the class, attendance will be marked, and they follow a system. But we cannot tell to a farmer, a villager, a urban member to come at 3 o'clock and learn. So it may that such things cannot work for andragogy. So there will be a type of education which will be specialized for the people who cannot be the things which cannot be achieved through a formal education. Okay, whatever is missing through formal education, we need to patch up or cover up with non-formal education. The school going to village is non-formal education, where according to convenience, according to the facilities, according to the availability of farmers, everything, the curriculum and everything will be fixed. Okay, so non-formal education is a type of education which is out of school education, not between the four walls, no curriculum. So it will be according to the situation. Situational based learnings are there. Such type of learnings will fall under non-formal education. Is it clear? So we have two different categories of education as we discussed. One is formal and other one is non-formal type of education. The formal education is with systematic and organized pattern of education. Non-formal education is quite opposite to it is not systematic and not organized education. I call it a situational based learning, whatever is happening. Such type of education can be called as non-formal education. But there is one more type of education. See, informal education. Correct. So if you see, one is the formal type of education, one is non-formal. Okay, these two type of educations are more or less covering each other and covering most of the types of educations. Then what else is left? What type is left? What can be the informal education? So systematic is formal, non-systematic is informal. That is fine. It is covered. It has covered everything. What specificity informal education is giving? What difference is it? It is maintaining compared to the formal and non-formal. So can anybody guess? Come on. Formal is there. Non-formal is there. This. What is this informal? What can be the informal? Give a brief review. Go for a try. What can be the non-formal education? Multiple answers, multiple things are coming to your mind. But there is a type of education which is always not taught to you. Okay, not everything has been somebody has given teaching or lectures to you. Somebody has always never explained to you. Many things are there which you learn on your own. Many things are there which you learn on your own. Realization, humanity, uh, what it is called, a dedication. Some things are there, cheating. All those things you will learn on your own. Okay, if you face sometimes somebody has cheated you, you learn from that. Learn from your own mistakes. So even if you take an example of small kids, the infants who are there, many things you have learned on your own. See, somebody first on the first line they didn't told you that okay, by touching fire your fingers will be burnt. So baby didn't attend a physics class or chemistry class. Nobody has told. First of all, it went. It has touched something which has created a problem to it. So next time she is almost or he is almost alert. Okay, stay away from this object. If you are going near to this object, it is going to create harm to you. So itself you have learned water, the feel, the touch. Many things are there which you are learning on your life. The day-to-day life, in day-to-day life, whatever you are learning on your own, whatever you are learning on your own, such type of educations fall under informal education. Is it clear? So three categories of education are there. One formal, the other non-formal, and the last one is informal. Hope everybody is clear. So up to now we have covered a concept called education and types of education. So this was covered up to now. What is education? Education is bringing desirable changes in human behaviors. Such things are called as education. So whenever we are bringing desirable changes in human behavior, those changes are always applied to three different categories or three different factors. What are those factors? Knowledge factor, attitude factor, as well as skill factor. These are the three areas where the changes applied. Okay, and education has been categorized, classified into three different types, that is formal, non-formal, informal. Described structure and a pattern of systematic learning is formal. Unsystemized, no fixed pattern, out of school of education can be called as non-formal. Day-to-day life which we are learning on our own, such type of education can be called as informal type of education. Hope everybody is clear here. Multiple times revisions were done. Repeatedly same thing has been explaining. So hope everybody had understood this. So let's proceed to the next word, extension. Okay. Now in extension education we learnt about education. Now we are learning about the term extension. Extension is the word which has its origin from Latin language. So extension, the word has been originated from Latin words, two different Latin language words. One is ex, which means out, and the other one is tensio, which means stretching. So the etymological meaning of extension can be outstretching. So it is a Latin word. From Latin word, they took two different words, ex and tensio. They merged it. It is extensio in a common language which we use regularly. The combination of words will form. So the combination of word formed was extension, which means outstretching. Okay, from a Latin language word. What it means outstretching? The outstretching of knowledge from the origin point to the some other far distance places. In agriculture scenario, what is from the research station to the rural areas, from the research scientists to the farmers. So we are outstretching information from research station, research scientists to the villages and to the farmers. So that particular word is related to extension. Now if you go to the definitional concept, see what does extension do? What does extension do? When we are talking about extension, the word or the concept, extension always tries to help people, to help villagers, to help farmers, so that there should be development with the people, there should be development with the farmers, there should be development with the community, there should be development with the villagers, there should be development with the society. Overall, extension strive and struggle for the development or improving the standards of people, especially rural areas. Okay, so if you see the definition also, you can make it clear what extension is trying to do. See, extension is a type of education where it is stretched out to people in rural areas far and near. It is stretched out to the people far and near beyond the limits of formal education structures. Okay, this is one definition. You can also see one more definition. See, extension is a program and a process of helping village people to help themselves, increase their production and raise their general standards of living. So if you see this particular definition, what is happening there? Extension is a program. So it is a set of things combinedly. You can see a program is an event where you have a plan, you have the work to done, you have a thing to do, you have a thing to achieve. So those things will be achieved with a plan, implementation, success. All those things combined can be called as program. So here they are terming extension as a program and a process. Process means it is not a one way or one step thing. It is many steps interlinked. That's why it is called as a process. Extension is a program and process of helping village people. Helping village people is completely fine, but there is one more line attached to it, helping village people to help themselves. See what it is telling, helping village people to help themselves. What does it mean? So we are not directly helping villagers. We are not helping directly villagers because if there is a problem that villagers don't have road, you are not going to lay down the roads. If there is no irrigation facilities and water, you are not going to provide the water facilities and irrigation facilities, but you are going to help villagers to sort out their problems, to identify their problems, to know their own problems and to solve their own problems, to identify, to rectify, to fight. To develop such kind of mindset among the farmers, you need to develop such kind of attitude in the farmers where they should be capable of identifying their own problem, solving of their own problem, because once they are capable of identifying and solving their own problems, it becomes regular process to them. Whenever the problem arises, next time they are not going to wait for you to help them, to motivate them. They know the procedure and process of helping themselves. Okay, so as an extension person, the definition it is telling that extension is a programmed process of helping village people to help themselves. By helping themselves, what will happen? Increase their production and rise the general standard of living. Increase their production, whatever stage the production is there, from there to next stage. When I'm talking the general standards of living, it doesn't mean that their general standards are very low. It doesn't mean that they have very low standards. Increasing their general standards of living means from whatever stage they are. So if you go to a village and their general standard of living is high, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't work with them. Okay, you can work from there to next stage. Science and technology and new world is always running at a phase where nobody can catch. Even our urban areas cannot catch the speed of science and technology. So there is always a lacuna. So similar, whatever the general standard the rural people has, whatever the general standard people is maintaining, from there to next standard of living, we need to push them. We need to motivate them to their achieve next standards, next level of standards. Okay, that is what the definition of extension is. Now we have understood two different concepts. One, what is education, types of education. Now we have understood the definition of extension. Now we can see together what extension education can be. See, what can be extension education? Extension education, you see the second definition. The first definition, it is extension is a two-way channel. It is about extension. It brings scientific information to the village people and also take the problems of village people to the scientific institution for solution. It is a continuous educational process in which both learner and teacher contribute and receive. Here in this definition, they are telling about extension, that extension is a two-way channel. It is not one-way channel where scientific information given to farmers and farmers' relevance will be given to the scientific institution. So that's why it is called as two-way channel. Okay, as well as it is a continuous educational process where education happens regularly. Problems will come, solutions will be finded out, solutions will be given to farmers, new problems will come and new solution need to be find out. So it is a continuous educational process. In this educational process, both of the farmers as well as teachers or scientists, both will be contributing and receiving from each other. Okay, that is one more definition of extension. You can see the extension education, the definition of extension education. Here they are saying extension education as a professional method. That an extension education is not random and irregular and no systematic. They are not telling like that. Extension is a professional method. It is a profession. It is a responsibility. So it is a professional method of non-formal education. They are telling non-formal education. Why non-formal education? See, it is not happening in a structured way. It is not happening with an organization or administrative format. It is not going to work in villages. Okay, if you are going to village and if you are taking attendance, farmers are not going to come and tell yes sir, present sir. Doesn't work like that. It is a non-formal education. You need to identify the free time of farmer. You need to identify when they are available, when the time is there, where they will be available. So according to them itself, the education should be planned. That's why extension education is a non-formal education. Again, we are combining both the definition of extension and education. That's why it can be called as bringing desirable changes in knowledge, skill and attitude and understanding of rural people. By bringing desirable changes through non-formal education of professional thing, what will happen? that will improve their social standards of people, economical standards of people, and the psychological status of the people. Psychology is never a negative word. Psychology is always a positive word. Psychology is their way of thinking, their way of explaining, their way of understanding things. Okay, this is going to happen. So, by professional method of non-formal education, through education, we are bringing desirable changes. Those changes will help to improve social, economic, and psychological status of the people. Okay, this is one definition of extension education. One more you can see, extension education is a bridge that gaps between research and rural communities. Extension education is considered as that particular bridge which is bringing information to village people and getting the problems of village people to the scientific community. So that particular part can be called as extension education. Hope everybody understood the two different terminologies which we understood today. So today we have understood about extension education, the word extension education, what is education, what is extension, and combinedly what can be the extension education. That's what we have learned today. Hope everybody understood, and if anybody has, you can post your doubts uh, as a comments, or else the number is displayed here. You can see and you can contact me through mail or WhatsApp if you have any query to ask. Yeah. Have a good day to everyone. Mm, all the best. Thank you. And the series will be continuing. Next, wait for the next class. Thank you.